Hello there, I'm Bardia Hafizi. If you're hearing this, then you've come across my installation at Alice Holt. Thank you for stopping by. Unfortunately, I could not acquire the visa to be with you today, so we will have to use our imaginations to connect. You're listening to my voice from Istanbul, the district of Kadıköy, and the neighborhood of Acıbadem. Currently, you're at site number 5, inside Alice Holt Forest, town of Guildford, which I'm told is in the southwest of London. That doesn't mean much to me, and I guess my location is equally absurd to you. But you are in a forest, and I'm in a city. That's gotta mean something, doesn't it? But the more I think about it, the more it evades my understanding. How is a forest different from a city? And more specifically, how is this forest different from this city? That's the question which my installation reflects on. My aim is not to reach any definitions or to compile statistical reports. Rather, I'm sharing my sensory imagination with you, an expression of difference and repetition. Hopefully, by following along, you will reach your own imagination, your own story of trees and forests, of people and cities. Wouldn't it be wonderful if one day we could all meet, sit down and share those stories with each other? Chapter 1. Homing. To stand. We start our journey from home, where we feel grounded, fixed and in charge. Take a deep breath, hold it for 3 seconds and let it out. Take another one now, and try to be attentive of where you are. Are you sitting down? Are you standing up? Is it cold? Is it warm? Look around and notice the trees around you. And try to find the one marked as number 1. Stand next to it. Try to sense it. Become familiar with it. Extend your senses along its body to the sky. How tall is it? Can you see its top? Can you hear it? Can you imagine? I share my treetop with the birds. The sparrows create a background sound, a tapestry against which everything else is heard. The crows are never a crowd, preferring a solitary life to themselves. The gulls, well, they take to the surrounding rooftops, their sounds at times deafening. The swifts are the restless childs of the sky, never sitting down, chasing and screaming each other constantly. The doves are the lovers. I wonder about you now. What do you hear? Are there any birds around? How many of them are there? Pick one that you like most and try to remember the sensation of its voice. Chapter 2. Wisdom. To walk. Let's take a walk now. We will wander around for a while. We leave our homes in search of adventure, of wisdom. This is accompanied by a feeling of loss, of confusion. Eventually, we will head towards tree number 2. Listen to the footsteps. Their repetitiveness creates a sense of safety, of a home away from home. It is familiar, it is intimate, and it is fixed. Well, almost fixed. Your footsteps tell as much about you as they do about the terrain you are walking on. How different it must be to walk the forest of Alice Holt, but also how familiar. Here in the city, I have to constantly sidestep animal feces while trying to be mindful of the cars and other people. My path is semi-determined by the formation of the buildings. I wonder, do you feel more free in the forest? There it is, my wisdom tree. It is the one that reminds me to stop walking and to sense once more where I'm at. It immediately brings out the differences. Yes, I still hear the birds, but now that feeling is drowned by the sounds from the road. How nice it must be for you to not have to endure such aggressive interruptions in the senses. Yet, I cannot help but fear that the monotony of the forest dulls the senses, removing the chance to acquire wisdom, to notice the differences. I wonder, if you heighten your senses, can you pick up something different from your home tree? Perhaps a new smell, or a different shade of tree. Take a deep breath and open your senses. If you find something, try to remember this feeling. Chapter 3. Body to sense. We've so far neglected our sense of touch. Let's take another walk now. Let's wander around before we arrive at the next tree, the body. As you are wandering around, try to sense the footsteps once more, yours and mine. Do you notice anything different about them? If not, try to reflect on their similarity. What does it mean for two phenomena to be the same? If something is different, try to focus your attention there. Expand this feeling. Know it. Sense it. Become the difference. My body tree is a single mulberry that lives by the road. Its fruit is ripe and juicy, half sweet, half sour. I noticed that behind it, at a distance, there are a couple of chickens resting in the shade. I tap its body. It is firm and does not make a large sound. Its leaves are more expressive as I caress them between my fingers. I suddenly notice a cicada singing on the tree next to me. Its scream pierces the soundscape amidst the sounds of the motor vehicles and the people. The birds are still singing in the background, though I'm surprised to not find more of them by the mulberry. I try to join their jam session by touching the trunk of the tree. It makes a soft, scratchy sound, like rubbing paper between your fingers. Paper comes from tree, I guess. Find your way to your tree. I wonder what grows in it and what sings around it. Touch its body with yours. Notice the sensation and the sounds it generates. Tap its trunk. Rub its leaves. If you feel more daring, go ahead and give it a hug. Try to linger on the sensation of touch. What do you make of it? How does it feel to you? What does it remind you of? Find a sensation, a memory, and try to memorize it. Chapter 4. Return to perceive. We're getting close to the end of our journey. We will take another walk now, to the last tree. It will mark a return to our home, but also to the body. It celebrates our walk and the wisdom we picked up along the way. As you're wandering around, try to pay attention to all your senses. Can you perceive the wind? It is present in all of my recordings, to the point that it becomes masked by its own omnipresence. Try to fully perceive the wind around you. Take a deep breath. There it is. Is it not the wind that enters your body, that brings life and awareness? Look at the leaves around you. Can you perceive their movements? It is the wind that is constantly bringing them to life, animating them. Is the tree breathing, do you think? Is wind nothing but the breath inside those leaves? Try to paint it in your mind. Envision its touch. It reaches every corner, every heart. Is it not the wind, then, which we try to imitate? By touching, smelling, hearing, tasting, and extending our vision beyond the material world. By sensing what lies around us and beyond our senses, we end up knowing as much about the world as we do of ourselves. Head towards the last tree. Approach it with your senses. Starting from a distance, bring in the sight. Activate your vision. What do you see? Get closer and take a deep breath. What do you smell? Get even closer and extend your hand. What do you feel? Look up and open all your senses. What do you hear? Epilogue. I congratulate you if you've made it this far. I cannot help but feel pride at the trust you've shown me by following my imagination to its end. We have made a deep sensical connection now, and I truly hope to one day meet you. You can head back to the benches now. It's time to unwind and reflect on your experience. You will find some paper and pen waiting for you on the table. You are free to express yourself in any way you prefer. You can draw, write, or do a mixture of both. The following are 3 questions to prompt your memories. You are not obliged to limit your expressions to them. Pause this recording after every question and take as long as you want to respond. Number 1. You listened to a few bird sounds so far, either in my recordings or in Alice Holt. Which one caught your attention most, and why? Number 2. All through the story, you kept sensing similarities and differences. Out of all of them, what caught your attention most? Which difference was more drastic for you? Which similarity more revealing? Number 3. You touched a few bodies on your journey. Can you remember them? Can you remember how they felt? If you were to reflect back on your experience, what memory did those sensations trigger for you? My story ends here, but yours has only begun. Reflect back at the answers you gave to the previous questions and think of the story they tell. If you are willing, you can include it in your paper as well. You are free to take these papers with you or to do with them whatever pleases you. If you are willing, though, I would like to ask you to share your expressions with me. You've listened to my story. Now I would love to listen to yours. Your identity will be kept anonymous, and your personal details will not be shared in any form. Let's keep the tree walking between us. Thank you for stopping by.